Hi, everyone. I'm coming to you this week sounding a little unwell, but I didn't want to postpone this because as we move towards 2026, I've been thinking a lot about reinvention. Not just my own reinvention, but the reinvention I see so many of you navigating right now in your careers and lives. And this is something important I've learned both from my own experience and from guiding hundreds of women through transition. Reinvention isn't one moment, it's a cycle and it has phases. Understanding those phases changes everything because it helps you stop fighting where you are and recognizing what this moment is actually asking of you. So I want to talk you through a really simple framework today. There are three stages: burning, phoenix, and becoming. Let's break them down and you can see where you currently sit. Burning is a phase most people fear, even though it's often the phase we most need. Burning is when the old structure falls away. This could be the job ending, the identity you built no longer fitting, the way you've been working stops working, and life pushes you out of something you can't stay in. Burning is both uncomfortable and incredibly clarifying. It strips away the pieces that can't come into your next chapter. And this year, collectively, we've all felt some degree of burning. We've been in a numerology year 9, which is all about endings and completion. We've been in the year of the snake, which is all about shedding. And personally, every time I pulled a tarot card, I kept getting the judgment card, which isn't about punishment, but about awakening. It's the moment when you can no longer pretend you don't know what needs to change. I want you to think about burning as the clearing. If you're here right now, the question isn't, how do I fix this quickly? Because that's our natural instinct. The question is, what is this making space for? Once the burning phase ends, most people expect instant clarity. But what usually happens next is what I call Phoenix. And Phoenix is the rebuilding phase, rising from the ashes. It's messy, it's uncertain, it's full of trial, error, and experimentation. To be honest, this was my entire 2025. After leaving my executive role, selling our home in London and moving back to Melbourne after more than a decade away, Phoenix became my real work. Rebuilding my identity, rebuilding stability, rebuilding my business from the ground up in a place that felt both familiar and new. And let me tell you, Phoenix comes with its own fears. For me, one of the biggest fears was committing to the Australian market. I told myself I wanted to preserve my global identity, but if I'm honest, it was about risking being seen properly. It was about wondering if home would accept me in the version I am now. And Phoenix is confronting because it asks you to rise before you're ready. It asks you to rebuild without that perfect full picture. And it asks you to trust the process before you have the proof. If you're in this phase, I see you. And the question is, what is my next step in this moment? Not 5 steps ahead, just what is the next step I need to take? And finally, we come to becoming. And becoming is where many people want to start, me included, but you can't skip to this part, I'm sorry. Becoming is the phase where you shape who you are growing into next. Becoming is not about survival, it's about getting really clear on your direction. It has elements of identity work. It's about getting real clarity in your work, and it's about being devoted to your work. Which brings me to my word for 2026. For a while, I thought my word might be hopeful, especially in a world that feels heavy, but hopeful didn't feel like the right thing for me. Then the word devotion appeared, and I resisted it because it felt kind of religious, and I'm not a religious person. But when I looked up the etymology, everything made sense. Devotion actually means to commit yourself fully, to bring depth and intention to what matters in your life. And that's the moment I realized becoming, this phase I'm going into, requires intention and therefore devotion. Not intensity and hustle or this pressure, but a grounded, steady commitment to the work you're already here to do. In 2026, devotion to me feels essential, not just for individuals, but collectively. Because we're moving into a year one in numerology, a universal beginning, we're also entering into the year of the horse, which is fast, powerful, forward moving energy. But horse energy without direction is chaos. But horse energy with devotion becomes momentum. This year, 2026, is the year to choose what you're committed to, not out of fear, but out of clarity. The reason why I felt called to teach this simple 3-part framework today is because these 3 phases are exactly what I'm seeing across the workforce. People are burning out. Industries are reshaping. AI is accelerating faster than a culture can keep up. So many people are stuck in the burning phase. Some are in Phoenix where they're rebuilding, experimenting, trying to find their footing, but very few people know how to step into the becoming again. They know what's ending, but they just don't know how to begin again. And that is why my work has evolved so much this year. In the background, I've been developing new structures, new frameworks, new way of supporting people as they move through these 3 phases, not just with mindset, but with architecture, with scaffolding, with pathways that bring clarity, skill, direction back into their careers. I don't see these as programs anymore. They're becoming infrastructures for the next era of work. So as we move into 2026, I want to leave you with 3 questions. Are you ready? 1, which phase are you in right now? Burning, Phoenix, or becoming? What is this phase asking of you? And what are you willing to devote yourself to in this year ahead? Remember, reinvention begins in the burning. It strengthens in the Phoenix and it's fulfilled in the becoming. And this is where devotion lives. Okay, that's it for now, and I'll see you next week.